Have you ever met someone who looks completely harmless, calm, polite, ordinary, yet somehow your energy feels off after being around them? You can't explain it, but something deep within whispers, something here isn't right. What if I told you those people might not even know the chaos they quietly spread? The real mystery is they walk among us every day, blending in perfectly. Who are they? You'll know soon enough, but first, let's step into what Carl Jung discovered about the human shadow. Life would be simple if everyone came with a warning label. Handle with care may cause emotional confusion, but no such signs exist. So, we learn the hard way, by trusting the wrong souls, giving our energy to those who only drain it, or doubting ourselves because someone made us feel like we were the problem. This isn't about judgment. It's about protecting your inner peace, your growth, and your clarity in a world where truth and illusion constantly blur together. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, revealed something chilling. The people who appear the most righteous and harmless on the surface often carry the darkest shadows inside. And if you're walking a path of healing or awakening, you will meet these types. They might already be in your life, maybe closer than you think. Before we dive in, take a second, subscribe to SYC Soul, like this video, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. Because what you're about to hear will change how you see people forever. Let's begin with the first type, the rule follower who never questions authority. They obey without hesitation. They trust the headlines, follow the rules, and never challenge what they're told. On the surface, they seem responsible, even admirable, but Jung warned, beneath their obedience lies a hidden fear, the fear of their own power. They live by society's book because they're too afraid to open the one written inside themselves. They trade intuition for approval, and ironically, those easiest to control often become the ones trying hardest to control others. They look disciplined, proper, even safe, but question their beliefs, and the mask begins to crack. They'll shame you, argue, even call you dangerous, not because you're wrong, but because you remind them of the freedom they've buried deep inside. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the unseen part of ourselves that holds everything we deny or reject. The more a person refuses to face their own darkness, the more they project it onto others. It turns into judgment, manipulation, and control, all disguised as moral superiority. These rule followers don't just comply, they recruit. They want everyone around them to obey the same system, because your independence threatens the fragile illusion of safety they've built their lives upon. Jung explained that these people aren't evil. They're unconscious. Their identity is fused with what they've been told is right. So, anything that challenges that belief feels like an attack on their very existence. If you've ever felt exhausted around someone who insists you do things the proper way, this might be why. Now, moving deeper to the second type, the ones who look at you strangely when you say you don't drink or smoke. You've met them, the people who treat your choices as if you've just confessed to being from another planet. They'll laugh, tease, or mock your self-control. Come on, live a little. But the truth is, your clarity makes them uncomfortable. Your awareness reflects what they've been trying to avoid. When you choose consciousness in a world addicted to numbing, you become a mirror, and mirrors are confronting. Your calm exposes their chaos. Your sobriety shows them how often they hide behind the crowd. And so, they label you boring, too serious, or no fun. But deep inside, it's not dislike, it's fear. Fear of being seen by someone who doesn't play by their rules. Tell me in the comments, are you connecting with these insights so far? And where are you watching from? I'd love to know who's walking this journey of awareness with me, because we're only getting started. The next type reveals something even subtler, kindness that controls. Stay with me. They seem angelic, the ones who always want to help, comfort, and fix everything around them. You know the type. I'm just here to help. They bring food, offer advice, check on you constantly, and appear endlessly giving. At first, it feels like a blessing, someone who truly cares. But over time, something subtle changes. Their warmth starts to feel heavy. Their help begins to carry weight. Suddenly, every act of kindness seems to have invisible strings attached. And when you start standing on your own, their smiles fade. Jung would call this the shadow of the caregiver archetype, people whose identity is built around being needed. Their self-worth depends on saving others. When you heal, grow, or simply become more independent, they feel abandoned. Not because you've done something wrong, but because your freedom confronts their hidden fear. Who am I if no one needs me? That unspoken question often drives them to unconsciously sabotage your growth. They may guilt you. After all I've done for you, or subtly make you doubt your choices, just to pull you back into dependence. But Jung reminds us, these people aren't bad. They're acting from unhealed wounds, shaped long ago by childhood roles where love had to be earned through service. The danger isn't their kindness, it's the invisible emotional contracts they create. Ones you never agreed to, but somehow find yourself bound by. True love supports your freedom. False love fears it. So how do you protect yourself? By learning to tell the difference between care and control, between presence and possession, between compassion and quiet manipulation. And most importantly, by giving yourself permission to grow, even if it means outgrowing those who once felt essential to your story. If these truths are striking a chord within you, let me know. And if someone in your life has been questioning their intuition lately, share this video with them. Awareness spreads healing, one honest reflection at a time. Because we're only halfway through Jung's warning, the next type is one of the most deceptive. They wear perfection like armor. And once you see through their shine, everything changes. They're the picture of composure, the ones who wake at dawn, sip green juices, post serene yoga poses, and write gratitude lists on white sand beaches. Every moment seems polished, every word curated, every image radiant with effortless harmony. You'd think they've mastered life itself. But as Carl Jung warned, when someone appears too perfect, there's usually a shadow hiding beneath the shine. These are the people running from something, a deep discomfort, an unhealed wound buried beneath layers of affirmations and smiles. Instead of facing their pain, they cover it with routines, rituals, and achievements. They're not bad people. They're fragmented ones. Wholeness requires embracing our contradictions, both the light and the dark, the wins and the wounds. But perfectionists only display the light. The danger comes when you start comparing your authentic, messy, human life to their highlight reel. You begin to believe that your fears, grief, and chaos make you less evolved, that your struggle means you're behind. But Jung knew better. Being whole isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. The truth is, those who seem to have it all together often haven't made peace with their own shadow. They've simply hidden it. They decorate over their pain instead of healing it. And without realizing it, they make others doubt their own humanity. They subtly teach that imperfection is failure, that sadness is weakness. But being human isn't a flaw to fix. It's the point of existence itself. So if you ever feel small beside someone's polished image, pause. Ask yourself, do they inspire me? Or do they make me feel like I'm not enough unless I perform a role? Because inspiration expands you. Comparison shrinks you. Carl Jung would remind us that authenticity doesn't always look graceful. Sometimes it looks like falling apart, confronting your reflection, and rebuilding from the raw truth. Anyone who can't admit that isn't free. They're just rehearsing an illusion. But what happens when illusion puts on a spiritual robe? When someone hides control behind the language of light and healing. That's the final mask, and perhaps the most dangerous of all. Stay with me as we uncover the spiritual ones who gaslight you with enlightenment. They're the serene ones, the healers, the yogis, the high-vibe mentors who seem to float above the noise of the world. They speak softly, quote ancient wisdom, and radiate peace. Until you share your pain. Suddenly, their compassion turns into philosophy. Your soul chose this, they say. It's just your karma. Let go, it's only your ego. What they're doing isn't always conscious, but Carl Jung warned us about it. Spiritual bypassing. It's when spirituality becomes an escape from emotion rather than a bridge to it. These people use light to avoid the dark. They replace empathy with mantras, and instead of sitting beside your grief, they explain it away, as though your heartbreak were just another illusion to outgrow. It sounds poetic, even wise. But in truth, it's a subtle form of gaslighting. Because when someone tells you your suffering is just energy, they erase your humanity. Pain deserves to be felt, not dismissed in the name of enlightenment. Jung said that true spiritual growth demands the integration of shadow, not denial of it. Real awakening isn't about escaping the darkness. It's about walking through it consciously. So be mindful of those who turn every wound into a slogan or every trauma into a lesson. They might sound evolved, but often they lack the one thing real healing requires most: empathy. When you meet such people, remember, you don't need to glow all the time to be whole. Wholeness includes your rage, sorrow, confusion, and hope. Consciousness is not perfection, it's presence. And that's what all these 5 types have in common. They each carry a buried shadow, a disowned part of themselves they've never faced. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. These people aren't your enemies. They're mirrors, reflecting where fear, control, or denial still live within us. The deeper truth? We've all been one of them at some point. The goal isn't to reject them. It's to become aware of what they awaken in us. Because the moment you own your shadow, no one else can use theirs against you. If you value clarity, depth, and the kind of insight that frees your mind, then you belong here. Subscribe to SYC Soul, like this video, and share it with someone who's walking their own path of awakening. Because the more light you bring to your shadow, the less darkness controls your life.